Right, welcome back. It's next project time. This is another weapons build, but this ain't no Nerf gun like the Kronos that I converted into the Judge Dredd Lawgiver from the Stallone film. This is 3D printed that I've managed to pick up on eBay. So here's the next project. Right, it is the COG Lancer from the Gears of War game. I think it's 1:1 scale. Now, I'm a bit of a Gears of War fan. I'm not very good online, but in career mode I'm not too bad. I play on hardcore. Even though on the 360 I've completed it on insane. Comes in 4 parts. You got the rear part of the rifle, the front part with the chainsaw bayonet. You've got a hand grip which will go in underneath there, and you've got the gun barrel. This ain't hollow either. This is 100% solid. 3D printed in resin. The guy I bought it off, Mike, has done an absolutely fantastic job. And from the description, he said it took him 600 hours to print. I'm not surprised. So you can see the detail on the rear part of the Lancer rifle. The hand grip, trigger, various bits and bobs on the side. That's going to have to be sanded down on this rear wall, going to the other side. And this is actually quite heavy in my hand. I don't know how heavy this is going to be once I glue it all together. You've got the front part of the rifle with the chainsaw bayonet. The teeth are absolutely amazing. They really, really are. Now, the 2 teeth, which one is it? Let's turn the flash on. Right, so I've turned the flash on. Now, that tooth I've had to repair. I was repairing, doing a bit of filling on one of my wife's gardening statues that she's bought. And I had to do some repairing of the moulding holes and the moulding imperfections. And I had a little tiny bit of milliput left over. So I've reconstructed that tooth. Don't look too indifferent from the other teeth, which look absolutely fantastic. And then you got this tooth here. Now that's split on me slightly, and I've bought some 2-part epoxy glue, but I wasn't sure how it would take to the resin. It says it's safe to use on plastic, but I don't know about resin. So what I did is I just mixed up the 2-part epoxy glue and just glued that tooth back on and let it 24 hours to set, and you can see where the line is, where it's snapped. But the resin, the 2-part epoxy glue, has actually gone down really nice. So that's what I'm going to be using to glue that wall and that wall together. You've got the bottom part of the chainsaw bayonet is where the hand grip goes. So my hand would actually go underneath there to grip it. So I've got to sand that as well. And then put that on there, like that. And then finally, I've got my gun barrel. Now it comes in 2 pieces. You've got like a collar, and you've got the barrel itself, and that will eventually, with the collar, go on there like that. This is going to be no small project, but for the £69.50 that I paid, £60 plus £9.50 postage, I've got an absolute bargain here. So it's time to get cracking on. Right, I've done some sanding because I'm sitting outside. Absolutely bloody glorious day. A lot of cloud in the sky. I've been waiting for pretty much all May to do this because all of May has been sunshine and showers, and I can't do my sanding inside because the dust would have absolutely got everywhere in my man cave. Dust would have absolutely gone everywhere. I mean, you could see by my trousers, my shorts, you know, with all the dust and on my t-shirt. So that's why I'm sitting outside. So I've sanded all that down. The 2 walls where they meet together, and I've sanded my hand grip down as well. So getting my 2-part epoxy glue. It's now time to glue these 3 pieces together. Right, welcome back. I've now glued the Lancer together. It's very tedious indeed holding it together while the glue's set. Because on the packet it says the glue only takes 5 minutes to set. It was more like about 15-20 minutes. So using this bit of plastic card, remember the sign card, I cut it probably about what, 2 inches wide by about 3 inches long. So I'll put that in my epoxy glue on the piece of cardboard and then spread it on the wall of the rear of the rifle. Spread it all the way around and then lining it up, and I had to hold it in my hands, you know, pushing it, holding it together for about 20 minutes, which was very, very tedious indeed. Once I felt the glue starting to go tacky and stiff, I then got my spreader again and spread it on the L-shaped back wall of the hand grip part of the chainsaw bayonet. I put some in this little gap here, and I put some there as well on that little line there. And then once that was on, I then pushed it into place, and I had to hold that in for about 10, 15, 20 minutes. Once I felt that going stiff, I then got my table and my wheelbarrow full of rusty water and just put the rifle on the butt, and then use that tube there to go into the front sight and wedge it in between that and the wheelbarrow. The tooth is just going underneath the lip of the wheelbarrow, and that ain't going nowhere. That is really stiff. So this has been drying for about, what, 3 hours now, and it is now 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So I'm going to leave this outside now because it's still lovely and sunny and beautiful, and I'll probably take this in about 7 o'clock tonight, because it says on the instructions of the packet it needs 16 hours to cure. I'm going to leave it overnight to cure. So let's see what happens tomorrow once all this is lovely and cured. Right, welcome back. The Lancer's all now glued together. I'm holding it in my hand as I would do if I was a COG soldier. Now, to give you some scale, I am about 6'2", 6 to 6'2". I weigh 18 stone, which is 253 pounds for my American friends. So this thing is huge, but it doesn't weigh as heavy as I thought it would do. I've got my little luggage weighing scale, and I wrapped it around the handle here, put the strap round and weighed it like that, and it only weighs 2 kilos, which I was quite shocked with. And like I said, you can see this, how big this thing really is. I mean, I can like go right up to the lens, and as if I was going to cut you in half, like in the game. But I'm really well chuffed on how sturdy this is, because I wasn't sure if the epoxy glue would hold this together. So there it is in all its glory in my hands. Okay, so I've laid the Lancer on my table. Now, my table, got my tape measure out, my table measures 700mm long, which is just over 27 inches, about 27 and a half. Now the Lancer, from the butt to the tip of the chainsaw bayonet, measures in at 29 inches, which is 740mm long, obviously without the gun barrel. So this thing is quite, like I said, it's really big. So getting rid of the tape measure. I've got a couple of issues I've got to deal with, so turn my flash on. Right, so I've got a gap issue there. You can see I can get my pencil right in that gap, the pencil nip. So that's got to go all, that gap's all the way up there. So I'm going to have to get a nozzle with some filler and try and get in there the best I can with the filler. I've got the seam line to deal with, but again, just get a bit of filler, fill that in hopefully, and it should blend that in pretty well. The hand grip, again I've got some filler to put in there and obviously get rid of all this glue residue. Turning this over, doing this one-handed. Now if you remember when I was holding this together for 20 minutes, even though the instructions on the epoxy glue said 5 minutes to set, it was moving around. On the one side it'd be perfect, on this side it would be out. I was constantly moving backwards and forwards to get the line and the lining up perfect, but you can see that it's very slightly down on this side, slightly out, only a little bit. It's most prevalent here. You see where it's slightly down where it should be, but I'm not really worried about that, to be honest. So again, I'll just get some filler on the top there as well. Let's get some filler to disguise that line. Again, I've got to do like on this, the other side, I've got to fill that in and try and get a nozzle with my filler right up there, because it's very narrow. I've got to gap it, I've got to fill that in and around there, around the hand grip, and there as well. Now, turning this on its back, I'm going to have to make a modesty plate for the ammo clip, because when I'm sanding this down, now the best way I can describe it is, you know when you're doing your home decorating and you're glossing your doors with the gloss, your gloss white, and you're painting along with your brush and then a bristle comes off the brush and you've got to try and pick it off the door with the wet paint. That's what I'm getting here. When I'm sanding this down, little bristles come off. So I've got a bit of pizza card. Actually, it's not pizza card, it's a turkey breast roast card. So I'm going to use this as a template to get some sheet plastic. That's going to go in there like that to cover that up. I'm going to pause this a sec. Alright, turning the Lancer onto its belly, I've got another modesty plate which I'm going to put in there, and it measures from there to there, and I've measured in between those little stand-up pieces there, which is that, and that's going to go in there and cover that up, because again, when I'm sanding that down, little bristles come off and I can't do anything with it. But that will cover all that and that line, so I won't need to take care of that line there, that seam line. But all in all, I'm really happy with how this has come together so far. So all I've got to do now is just do all that filling of the gaps in, make me little modesty plates, glue them onto the bottom there and onto the grip handle there. So that's where I'm sitting at the moment. Right, welcome back. I'm now doing my gap issues down the side of the hand grip area where I told you previously. So I've just got a caulk gun, £2.99 from Bike Bargains in Bilston. I picked up a bottle of Gorilla Grab adhesive, which is also a filler. It's like a glue and a filler, so it's like a 2-in-1. That was £8. So I've just got the nozzle, gone all the way up, down the top. Now the nozzle's slightly too thick, so I couldn't get right down to the bottom in that gap. So I've gone all the way up there, down this side, as far as I could down that little gap on the top there, and down the side there. I pumped a little bit extra to go down there, and I've cut this off my sheet plastic, and I've just like gone down the best I can and pulled it up to smooth it out. And I've also done it on the other side as well, just like I said, a bit extra down there, just pushed it down and then pulled it up. It's not the most neatest job in the world, but I'm hoping once the 16 hours have gone, this takes to cure, I might be able to sand that down a bit better. But this Gorilla Glue Grab adhesive 2-in-1 has actually made that look a hell of a lot better. There's no gap there now, and there's no gap on that side. So all I've got to do now is just wait for this to dry.